Hello, and welcome to Message Magazine's daily devotional reading, Thoughts in Worship. Does it seem like your days are getting longer, yet your time with Jesus is getting shorter? Or maybe you just need a little pick-me-up that lasts longer than that morning cup of coffee, and is healthier too. Whatever the case, the way you spend the next few minutes in time just might determine where you spend eternity. And now, here's your host, author, speaker, L. David Harris.
This is devotional thought number 2 in our devotional series titled, The Gospel According to Psalms. Here's what the Bible says. Hide thy face from my sins and blot out mine iniquities. Psalm chapter 51, verse 9. Mary Magdalene was taken to Jesus and thrown at his feet as some hypocritical men thought to do away with both her and Jesus in one encounter. They sought to entrap him by saying that this woman was caught in the very act of adultery and asking what they should do. They said that Moses' law stated that she should be stoned, but wanted to know what he would suggest. They thought to either have Jesus unjustly punish someone in a society ruled by Rome or openly disagree with the law of Moses. In either case, their purpose would have been served. Jesus would have been cast in a poor light. They also wanted to cover their own sins while punishing a woman whom some say the men fornicated with. If they were successful in their plotting, 2 of their enemies would no longer be with them. Instead of Jesus responding to them directly, he began doing something that struck the men as odd. The Bible says, "But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him cast a stone at her first. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convinced by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Jesus was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst." John chapter 8, verses 6 through 9. By writing the sins of these accusers on the ground, Jesus demonstrated an important biblical teaching. The Bible says, "And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. And the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works." Revelation chapter 20, verse 12. Soon the Lord will judge the wicked from his book of recorded evil deeds. If an individual does not have their sins blotted out through faith in Jesus, then the record of them will seal their condemnation. Conversely, if an individual has their name written in the book of life in the end, by faith in Jesus Christ, their salvation is sealed. What does this mean for Mary? If you notice, the Lord did not write anything down concerning her. In fact, Jesus said that he did not condemn her. He told her to go and sin no more. The fact that the accuser's sins were written means they were unrepentant. Therefore, all they could do was leave the Lord's presence. How is it with us? Do we accept the power of God to be forgiven and cleansed of our unrighteousness? Do we accept the power of God to live victorious lives? He says to those who accept his love, "Neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more." John chapter 8, verse 11. David said it well when he wrote, "Blessed are they whose iniquities are forgiven, and whose sins are covered. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord will not impute sin." Romans chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. This has been the Gospel According to Psalms. Live by it.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. Always remember, the way you spend your time now just might determine where you spend eternity. Until next time, be at peace.